What's up, everyone? Welcome to another pre-op moto. I've been asked lately, what routine do I typically go through at night before going to bed to help loosen up my muscles and get out of any aches and pains that I might be experiencing throughout the day. Of course, it's going to be a little bit different every day based upon what I'm feeling, but I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a rundown of a routine that you can do prior to bedtime. So first things first, no equipment is needed for this, just a comfy place to be. I do have a pad. I like to sit on a pad and also put my knees on a pad if I can, but at home also carpet can be pretty comfortable. So the first movement that we're gonna do today is gonna be seated, cross-legged. If this is an uncomfortable position for you, feel free to boost your bottom up with a pillow, make it a little more comfortable for your hips. Otherwise, this is just gonna be where we start. So first thing is a seated twist. So we're gonna do these for time, give or take 10, 15 seconds on each side, but you're more than welcome to hold for longer as well. So I'm gonna place my opposite hand to my opposite knee, and we're gonna go to the right side first, so left hand to right knee. I'm gonna place my right hand back behind me, and I'm just gonna sit up nice and tall and twist into this. Like I said, you're not holding for a super long time, 10, 15, maybe 20 seconds. If you feel a little bit of extra tightness and want to take some more time, feel free. Taking deep breaths in and pushing down into the belly when we're doing that. So we're inhaling and our belly is going to be pushing out. Perfect. And then we're going to go to the opposite side. So right hand to left knee and left hand goes back behind and we're twisting. If the back gives a little crack, it's not normal in this position. Might feel good. So based upon what you're feeling, this stretch is going to feel different. You might feel a little bit of your shoulder on one side, or you might feel more of the erectors in the spine on the other side. It really is going to matter person to person, and it's going to feel different on both sides too. Perfect. So next is a side body bend. We're going to stay in this seated position for the next few movements as well. So side body bend, I am going to place one hand on the floor. So I'm going to place my right hand on the floor. And I'm going to bend this elbow to allow myself to actually banana bend or crescent bend to the right here while reaching up with my left hand. So side body bend here, you can see we're getting that nice side body bend, stretching out the lats, the obliques, on the elongated side. And notice I'm not just like reaching over here and crossing over. I'm still supporting myself with my down hand. So I'm actually pushing away with that hand ever so slightly. So I keep my torso pushing to the left while my arm is reaching to the right. From there, we're gonna do a cross up side body bend. So left hand is gonna go to right knee. And now the right hand is going to side body bend over to the other side. So this is just a cross up version of what we're doing. So this one gets a little bit more into the obliques. You can turn the torso slightly with it too, which is definitely going to get more into the obliques. And remember, we're breathing during this. Really important to get those breaths in and out to allow the relaxation of the body. Then right hand now is going to cross over to left knee. So that right arm is going to be across the top of the left arm. And we're going to round through the spine back into what would be like a cat position. And we're going to come up and extend through the spine, which is going to be our cow position. We're going to do this 5 times. So 2. Hopefully getting a little bit looser with each one of these. And 5. Now we're going to go eagle arm. So the right arm is going to remain over the top of the left arm. We're going to loop the left arm around, and we're going to try and connect the palms with the fingers here in this eagle arm position. And we're just going to hold this, and you can get a little little weird with it, move side to side, whatever's kind of feeling good for you. Everyone's body's gonna feel different, so adjust and attend to your own body. Really important. No one body is built the same, so one stretch is not gonna feel the same for everyone across. Great, and we release that. Now we're just gonna flip this over to the other side. So now left hand is gonna come onto the floor, right arm's gonna bend over for that side body bend. Remember that left hand now is gonna be pushing the torso to the right while that left arm is reaching up over to the left, creating a big crescent banana bend here. Remembering to breathe. It's a little tedious to say, remember to breathe, because we should be breathing. It's the most natural thing that we can do. Everyone knows how to do it. But sometimes when we get in positions and we start stretching, we actually forget to breathe. So frequently going to be reminding you to breathe. Now, right hand is going to drop to left knee while we're going to do this cross up side body bend. So that left arm now goes up to the ceiling, trying to reach over, but we got that right hand on the left knee for support so we don't fall over, but a little bit more into the lat oblique. It's a different way of doing the stretch. I prefer this one, the cross up. Definitely gets more of a stretch for me and I get more relief. I tend to have a little bit of tightness in my obliques just from the way that I move and the activities that I do. Now left hand crosses over the top of right arm to right knee. And now we got that crossed up position again, so we're gonna go back into that cat-cow. So we go cat and cow. We're gonna do these for 5. One more. And now eagle arm. So left arm stays over the top. It's going to wrap around. Right hand is now fingertips inside left palm. If you can't hit this position, it's totally fine. It can be a little bit challenging to get into, but what this is actually, if you're limited on this, what that's saying is that your internal and external rotation of your shoulders, because believe it or not, this is actually shoulder movement that allows you to get into these positions, is going to be what's hindering your ability to get here. So internal and external rotation of the shoulder is really important, and those rotator cuffs can also get pretty darn tight. So if you're having troubles with this, internal, external rotation is what you need to work on. Awesome. So we're going to get out of this position of the crisscross. We're just going to, you can roll forward onto your hands and knees. I'm going to resituate myself here so that you can actually see me from the side. If I was at home on my carpet, I actually wouldn't be using this pad. The rubber floors can just be a little bit uncomfortable, especially if you ever have hurt your knees. It just doesn't feel that great. So from here, now we're in what is called a quad-up position. That is 2 hands, 2 knees, animal position here, nothing too fancy about it. And we're going to go into a cat-cow for 5 rounds. So we did our cat-cow when we're in the eagle arm, or excuse me, when we're in the cross-up position, but we're going to do this in a more traditional cat-cow now. So very simple, breathing out. We're in that cat, breathing in, driving the belly button down towards the floor, raising the head up for the cow, and we go back into the cat. So this is ultimately just spinal flexion and spinal extension. But there's also really good pelvic articulation in this, so you can see the hips are going from anterior tilt to posterior tilt as well. And the shoulders actually are getting a protraction, retraction. So a lot of good stuff actually in this position. From here, we're going to go into a thread the needle position. So we're going to do one side at a time. We're going to take our left hand and we're going to thread it through underneath the right side We're going to twist and leave our bottom up in the air and reaching through, and we're actually using our right arm to push just ever so slightly to facilitate more of a twist. So thoracic rotation, really, really important to free that up so that the shoulder blades can move properly, so the glenoid joint of that ball and socket of the shoulder is less likely to get injured. And when that ball and socket joint, being the glenoid, switch it up now, so right is now under left, that ball and socket joint of the glenoid, if that's in a bad position and we take a fall, we increase our likelihood of shoulder injury and also collarbone injury. But if it's in a nice, safe place, it's going to take that hit and it's going to redistribute the forces through the body as intended rather than into a simple bone like the collarbone, which does not take a lot of force to break, unfortunately. And we're back up in that quad wrap now. And we're going to go into what's called a puppy dog. So we're just going to stay right where we're at. And we're going to kind of start flowing through some movements here, okay? So puppy dog, we're going to walk the hands out. Butt's going to go to the air. Huge spinal extension here. And remember to breathe, of course. This is going to feel different for everyone. If you want to rest your forehead on the floor, that's totally cool. And we're going to come back up. Now I'm going to kick my pad out because we're not going to need that for the next movement. So we're going to go from the quad wrap position, and we're going to now kick up into a downward dog. So pushing the floor away with our hands, getting a huge stretch in the calves, the hamstrings, the back. This is real big post chain stretch here. From here, we're going to bring our left leg forward into roughly a 90-degree angle, and this is our pigeon position. This leg in the back is just kicking out to whatever is comfortable for you. It's going to be different for everyone. But we're stretching the posterior hip capsule and glute of that left leg in this position. If this is a little too intense for you, you can always back the foot up a little bit and or actually put something underneath that knee, which is going to just make it a little more comfortable for whoever it is. We're going to push up into a plank position. Just a little core activation is always good. And then back into our down dog just for a quick transition here. And then we're going to fly through into an up dog or a cobra or a seal. Everyone calls these different things. Really depends on who you're talking to. Like yoga is going to call them an up dog. PTs like to call them seal stretches. I'm very familiar with them as cobra stretch. They are all the same thing though, trying to get that front body. Abdominal stretch. Perfect. Back up into the down dog. This is a transitional movement, so we're going to be using this quite a bit. We're going to bring our left foot forward now. And we're going to frame it with one hand on the inside and one hand on the outside. So big hip flexor stretch. In this position. And we're going to take our left hand, we're going to reach it up towards the ceiling. We're going to do this 5 times, touch the floor, almost like we're pulling a bow and arrow. Perfect. Then we're going to lift that back knee up and we're going to stand our way up. Huge hip flexor stretch here. This is a warrior 1 pose. So arms go up to the ceiling. Big hip flexor stretch, lower abdominal. Should feel pretty good to do this position. A little bit challenging. If you need something to hold on to, that's totally fine.
Then we're going to turn our back foot 45 degrees and open up. This is now Warrior Two pose. I'm not a yoga instructor. This is not a yoga flow. This is my own personal just way I stretch out. Feels good to do these movements, but I like doing them in my own sequence personally, and I think they're very beneficial when you can make adaptations to certain routines and make them feel good for you. So now we're going to straighten out that front leg, which is going to turn into a little bit of a hamstring stretch. We're going to lay our left hand towards the floor and now open our body up with our right hand reaching up to the ceiling. Now both hands are going to come back to the floor and frame that front foot again. We're going to step the back leg up halfway, and we're going to rock back and work on a little bit of a hamstring stretch here. This one feels really good to do. You can kind of move around, whatever's going to feel best. I'm going to turn, but we're going to put both feet parallel to each other for just a simple forward fold here. So both hamstrings now are being stretched. Feels pretty good. Now I'm going to turn back so that I can do my other side for you here. So we're going to step back into the plank. Once again, some more downward dog positions. Back into another plank. And hopefully you're feeling a little bit looser as we're kind of going through this, like just little by little by little. Getting a little more loosened up. These positions are becoming a little bit easier. We're gonna dive through for that up dog cobra once again. It's a little bit of a workout, but it's not like we're gonna be pushing sweat during this. But definitely getting just a little bit warm. It helps the muscles relax. It's increasing blood flow. And now we're going to bring that right leg forward into pigeon. This tends to be my little bit tougher side, to be honest. So I'm just going to put this knee roughly at 90 degrees. I like to play forward into it a little bit, but if you need to sit up tall, that's totally, that's fine, whatever is accommodating for your body. Then I'm going to step out. Back into that down dog. And now I'm going to step that right foot forward into that lunge stretch. So now we're one hand outside, one hand on the inside. Then we're going to do some twists. So right arm now is pulling that bow and arrow for 5 times. Ooh, a little back crack for me there. That felt nice. I'm going to come back and frame it. Lift that back knee up into a standing position or Warrior One. I'm going to reach the arms up just for a little extra stretch. Like I said, if you have trouble with this position, you can always use something to help stabilize you. Then I'm going to turn my back foot 45 to 90 degrees. You got the back side here now. So into that Warrior Two, so a little bit of adductor stretch in the back leg. Then I'm going to straighten out my front leg. Right arm is now going to go to the floor for that front hamstring stretch. Then both hands are going to come down. I'm going to frame that front foot. I'm going to step up halfway for more of an isolated hamstring stretch in a triangle pose. Perfect. And I'm going to turn and face you. Do this in whatever direction. So we're going to come with our feet both underneath us, and then we're going to walk out as far as we feel comfortable. Okay, it's going to be different for everyone. And then we're going for a wide-legged forward fold for those adductors. Only go as far as you're comfortable. If you need to put something on the floor to put your hands on, that's totally fine as well. You can get real fancy. Put your head down if you can. Walk the feet back underneath. Come into a deep squat. If you need to hold on to something or sit on something, that's totally fine. This is the last movement we're going to be doing, one of my favorite movements. So deep squat's really good, opening up the hips. Also helps with things like digestion. So when we're going to bed, digesting, getting that parasympathetic nervous system state, which is that rest and digest. This is a really good position. We're just going to do some rotations in here. So more rotations, right hand to the floor, left hand to the ceiling. Do 5 of these on each side as the last movement. And 5. So now left hand goes to the floor, right's up to the ceiling. Like I said, if you cannot get in this position, you're more than welcome to sit on top of something to make it a little more comfortable, and you can work your depth as you go. And 5. Awesome. So like I said, this is just a mobility flow that I personally do before bedtime. It takes some time, so you need to make sure that your nighttime routine is being set up so that you can take this 20 so minutes to sit down and go through these stretches. But loosening up the body before bedtime is going to help you get better sleep because you're going to be able to get into more comfortable positions. So if you have a hard time or you toss and turn at night, this potentially could be of help. So hope you like it. Like and subscribe below, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everyone.